Welcome to Quiz Moose. Are you smarter than a Canadian moose? Let's find out. And yes, that was a moose call. Show me the Loonie. Welcome to the ultimate Canadian money quiz. You'll face 20 questions with just 5 seconds each, from coins to cash. Let's see what you know about Canada's currency. Ready? Let's get started. Before the loonie was adopted in 1987, what was the original intended design for the $1 coin that was lost in transit? A polar bear, a voyageur, and an Indian in a canoe, a maple leaf cluster, or a beaver? The correct answer is a voyageur and an Indian in a canoe. The master dies for the voyageur design disappeared during shipment to the Winnipeg Mint. Fearing counterfeiting if they were found, the government rushed a new design, the loon. What appears on the back of the Canadian $1,000 bill, which was officially withdrawn from circulation in 2000? 2 pine grosbeaks, a snowy owl, a Canada goose, or the Atlantic salmon? Two pine grosbeaks is the correct answer. The $1,000 pinky featured 2 birds perched on a branch. It was pulled to help combat organized crime and money laundering. The 1935 $25 bill was issued to celebrate which British milestone? The coronation of George VI, the Silver Jubilee of George V, the birth of Princess Elizabeth, or the end of World War I? The correct answer is the Silver Jubilee of George V. The $25 bill is extremely rare today. It was a bright royal purple and is one of the only times Canada issued a $25 denomination. When Canada withdrew the penny from circulation in 2012, the government cited that it cost how many cents to produce each 1-cent coin? 1.6 cents, 2.3 cents, 2.8 cents, or 3.1 cents? 1.6 cents is the correct answer. At 1.6 cents per penny, Canada was losing money on every coin produced. The withdrawal meant cash transactions were rounded to the nearest nickel. However, pennies remain legal tender and can still be used for exact payments. As announced in December 2024, who will replace Sir Wilfrid Laurier on the new $5 banknote, with Laurier moving to the $50? Terry Fox, Pierre Trudeau, Wayne Gretzky, or David Suzuki? The correct answer is Terry Fox, the 22-year-old cancer research activist who ran his Marathon of Hope across Canada on a prosthetic leg in 1980, will become the new face of the $5 note. The announcement stated this is to inspire more Canadians to give $5 to the cause that Terry Fox championed. The 2018 $10 note featuring Viola Desmond was a Canadian first for what design feature? First holographic portrait, first Canadian journey banknote, first vertical banknote in Canada, or first triangular shape? First vertical banknote in Canada is the correct answer. The Viola Desmond $10 was Canada's first vertically oriented banknote. It was also the first Canadian note to feature a black person and a woman other than the Queen. Desmond was a civil rights pioneer who refused to leave a whites-only section of a Nova Scotia theater in 1946. The 2021 redesigned 10-cent coin was Canada's first ever colored dime. What color was added beneath the iconic blue nose schooner? Blue, red, green, or gold? The correct answer is blue. The 2021 blue nose dime featured a splash of blue beneath the famous fishing schooner, evoking the North Atlantic waters. 6 million colored dimes were minted, alongside 9 million uncolored versions, making it a collectible first. The 2023 Loonie honoring Elsie McGill featured green and brown camouflage shoes, along with red and blue accents. What was her World War II nickname? Queen of the Hurricanes, the Aviator, Lady of the Skies, or Wing Commander? Queen of the Hurricanes is the correct answer. Elsie McGill was an aeronautical engineer who oversaw production of over 1,400 Hawker Hurricane fighter planes. Her Queen of the Hurricanes nickname reflected her crucial role in the war effort and her advocacy for women's rights in engineering. When Canada transitions to polymer notes starting in 2011, the new material was chosen partly because polymer banknotes last how many times longer than paper notes? 5 times longer, 2.5 times longer, 10 times longer, or 1.5 times longer? The correct answer is 2.5 times longer. Polymer notes last at least 2.5 times longer than paper notes, reducing replacement costs and environmental impact. They're also more hygienic, since the smooth surface doesn't absorb dirt and bacteria like porous paper does. In the 1970s Scenes of Canada series, which bill featured the RCMP musical ride on the back? The $2 bill, the $5 bill, the $10 bill, or the $50 bill? The $50 bill is the correct answer. The iconic image of the RCMP musical ride in a formation was a staple of the $50 bill for nearly 20 years. What was the nickname for the large copper-colored 1-cent coin Canada minted between 1858 and 1920 that was nearly the size of today's toonie? The Big Red, the Large Cent, the Copper Maple, or the Victoria Penny? The correct answer is the large cent. Canada's large cent, 1858-1920, was 25.4 millimeters in diameter, almost as wide as today's toonie. When the smaller small cent was introduced in 1920, many Canadians hoarded the big copper coins, believing the new tiny coin felt cheap. Canada's first bilingual banknote featuring text in both English and French was issued in which year? 1870, 1937, 1954, or 1969? (1937) is the correct answer. The 1937 Dominion of Canada notes were the first to carry both English and French text, reflecting growing pressure for linguistic equality decades before the Official Languages Act of 1969. In 1954, a batch of Canadian banknotes became notorious as the Devil's Face series. What caused the scandal? The ink contained subliminal imagery. A printer's error inverted the portrait. An artist hid a skull in the design, or Satan's face appeared in the Queen's hair. The correct answer is Satan's face appeared in the Queen's hair. An optical illusion in the engraving of Queen Elizabeth II's hair on the 1954 series made it appear as though a demonic face was lurking behind her ear. The Canadian toonie, introduced in 1996, had a famous manufacturing flaw in early editions that allowed what unusual trick? The inner core could be popped out by hand. The coin could roll uphill on a slight incline, the two metals could be separated by freezing, or edge lettering could be removed with tweezers. The inner core could be popped out by hand is the correct answer. Early 1996, toonies had a loosely fitted bimetallic core that could be popped out with a firm thumb press. The Royal Canadian Mint quietly tightened manufacturing tolerances within a year. Which Canadian city is home to the only mint outside of Ottawa that is authorized to strike Canadian circulation coins? Vancouver, Winnipeg, Toronto, or Calgary? The correct answer is Winnipeg. The Winnipeg facility of the Royal Canadian Mint, opened in 1976, now handles the bulk of Canadian circulation coin production and is the world's busiest mint by volume. What is the only Canadian coin still in production that retains its original design from 1937 with virtually no modifications? The quarter, the dime, the nickel, or the penny? The nickel is the correct answer. The Canadian nickel's beaver design has remained essentially unchanged for over 85 years, making it the longest continuously used reverse design on any current Canadian circulation coin. What is the highest denomination of Canadian banknote currently in circulation? $1,000 bill, $50 bill, $100 bill, or the $10,000 bill? The correct answer is $100. While $1,000 bills were once printed, they are no longer in circulation. The highest denomination you'll find today is the $100 bill. Which Canadian coin features a caribou? The dime, the quarter, the 50-cent coin, or the toonie? The correct answer is the quarter. The caribou has been on the quarter since 1937, representing Canada's northern wildlife. The design was created by Emmanuel Hahn. Which Canadian Prime Minister is featured on the $50 bill? Lester B. Pearson, William Lyon Mackenzie King, Pierre Trudeau, or Robert Borden? William Lyon Mackenzie King is the correct answer. Mackenzie King was Canada's longest-serving Prime Minister, 21 years. King believed he could communicate with spirits. He held seances and claimed to speak with deceased relatives, including his mother. Which Canadian Prime Minister has their signature on banknotes? Justin Trudeau, Stephen Harper, Mark Carney, or Paul Martin? The correct answer is Mark Carney. He was the governor of the Bank of Canada from 2008 to 2013. How did you do? Drop your score in the comments. Challenge a friend and see who knows Canadian money best. For more fast and fun quizzes, hit like and subscribe to Quizmoose. See you in the next challenge.